Welcome to Tarot Q&A Tuesday. Here we are again. We've got a bunch of questions that have been sent in and I'm going to start at the beginning. We've also got some people on Zoom that I'm going to chat to directly since they've turned up on time. And we will see what the cards have to offer. We will allow the cards to give us some clarity on what's going on in our subconscious, because this is the hidden aspects of ourselves that we sometimes are rather unaware of. One way to find out what's going on in that subconscious mind is to recognize patterns in our life, especially destructive patterns, because these give us a sign of things that might need to be adjusted in our personal life in order to have more flow, more ease, more grace, more happiness, love, and abundance. Because with the tarot, we're all about unblocking the roadblocks that are stopping you from living your dream life. Today we have some big questions, and I will eventually get into those when I've got the cards feeling in my vibe. Okay, bearing in mind, those watching, I will be doing a collective conscious reading, probably the second or third one up. We are going to begin with Shelley. Shelley has texted and said, please can you pull me a card to help me deal with the frustrations with my son? He's not helping around the home, things need to change, and I'm not sure how to go about it, and I just get so sick and tired of his lack of pride in the home and laziness. Thanks, Shelley. Okay, so we're just going to pull a card and see what inspiration we get, because obviously this has multiple facets to it. And, you know, teenagers, right? It's another breed. As much as we love them, it's another breed. So, Shelley, what advice do we have about you and your son so you can create more harmony in the home? What do you really need to know? At these points, when we're triggered, when we're frustrated, it's our stuff. It's hard to accept that sometimes, because we really are, you know, wanting to blame other people for their frustration. I mean, we all have these moments. We're not immune to wanting things to go our way. Now, the first card I've pulled is the Chariot. The Chariot is very much about the focus on a career move and moving up a ladder and striving forward with motivation and drive. So you ask, how does this relate to this particular question? Well, there's a couple of other things in this card, and there's like a black and a white symbol here. The black and the white always represent the subconscious and conscious, the subconscious being the dark. And so it's a reminder that if we want to move forward in a straight line and achieve our goals, we must find balance between both the subconscious and unconscious. So it's quite ironic that I started talking about that just before. So therefore, the thing to do with this, Shelley, is to tap into yourself and ask yourself, why is it such a big deal to you? What is the frustration, other than the fact that no one wants to be cleaning up after other people? That's no fun at all. But what is it stirring up on a deeper level for you? What is it that, you know, how do you feel about it, and how can you deal with that on a different level? We still want to be able to give you some answers on practical ways of managing this son. However, we are just going to start by saying, take the frustration and then ask yourself, why am I frustrated? How is this making me feel? Is it making me feel underappreciated, undervalued, taken for granted? And then we've got something deeper to work with, right? Because it's that key there that needs to change. When we can change our inner beliefs about ourselves and know deeply that we are appreciated, we are valuable, we have people that are on our side and that we know we're supported, then that vibration oozes out of us and we automatically attract respect back. So the beginning of this starts with respect for yourself. And once you ooze that respect, you will naturally gain it back. It's not an overnight success, but it is a different way of looking at this. This is the Hanged Man, which is a second way of gaining clarity, is to take a look at from a new perspective. So the new perspective is what we've just gained, and that is to ask yourself, what does it bring up for you on a deeper level around self-worth? Find the key thing respect, appreciation. What is the word for you? And then find yourself a way of giving that to yourself. We can work with this together, Shelley. However, that's just the starting point to get you thinking. If you want respect, it's not about demanding it. It's about feeling it for yourself. Does that make sense? I think it does. We can continue that another day. And we're going to launch into... Linda, you haven't asked a question today, have you? Are you up for one? Have you got anything? Oh, you did ask a question. You did ask a question. Yes, you did. We'll get into yours.
I did.
You did.
I did ask a question.
I'll read it for you and you can add into it if you'd like to share more information. Linda, I have a younger sister who needs a job and wants to relocate to Papamoa for financial reasons. I need help in the shop. Going forward, I've offered her a chance to come here and work with me for a 6-month trial basis. What does the universe think about that? Good question. Although also we feel very instinctive that that's a bit of a sign for helping hand, isn't it? You know, like people turn up in your life just when you need a bit of a helping hand. So how do we receive that? So first of all, we're going to launch into, is she a good person for the job? Like, could she add value, or is she going to be more of a hindrance? So we're going to ask the question, is it correct action to employ your sister? Just get into the zone. Excuse me. All right, Linda, we want a card. Is it correct action to employ your younger sister? Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely correct action. This card is the Queen of Pentacles, often depicting a mother or nurturing feminine essence in a business form. It could be a working mum. So it's a yes card if you were asking just a yes or no. And let's dig into it. What are the messages? What does it feel like? What does the universe think of this plan ahead? Beautiful. Couldn't get much better than this. Change. Wheel of Fortune is all about change. And it's a destiny card. So that is really meaning that you are... This is a good time to actually... Well, we can see some changes moving forward. Blah, 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 blah. We can see some change happening and you moving forward with this opportunity. I'm really curious about this actually, so I want to ask one more question. Just find out about. Oops, I've left some people waiting. Get in there. Admit all. Yeah. So, how is she going to be of most help to you? On the financial side, is she good with numbers?
No, but she's good at like little jobs. Like, you know, she's got processes. She's good at processes.
Yeah. Well, I'd say is she well connected? Like, is she quite you know, as far as no. Okay, so I'll just stick it.
But she's a real people person. Like, she's got a really great...
That's what I mean. So I feel that she will establish, she can help establish more of a presence in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
She'll be good.
Yeah, no, I feel good about it. I feel really good about it, actually. There's King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, a lot of what you like to hear, the money. Does not make the world go round, by the way. Anyway, hi, Jessica. Hi, Leah. Sorry to let you guys in late. Hello, Melissa, Erin, and everyone else that I haven't said hello to. Now, we have a question in the chat. I would like a random card, Erin says. Hopefully a cheery one. We all want some happiness. There's funny energy in the air the last few days. I don't know if you guys felt it. Actually scratch that first one. As I've lost my plan A, happy home when I go back to Australia. Is it going to be an uphill battle to settle in when I return now? Well, let's ask that in a slightly different way. When I go to Australia, when Erin goes to Australia, is it going to be uphill? Can Erin expect ease and flow with the unravelling of logistics as he settles into his new home in Australia? We'll ask the yes/no question, and then we're going to launch into the collective consciousness card, the message that we all need to hear this week. Erin. Erin. Oh gosh, I'm really getting in the zone, eh? Is it going to be a flow of ease and grace is our question. Yes! Moving forward with passion and excitement. Well, this is nice writing off last night's cosmic consulting class, isn't it? Boom! This is you, Erin, the knight in shining armor. Woo! Launching forward with enthusiasm and passion. I'm just going to take that as the simplicity of both of those questions answered in one beautiful card. Okay, so let's talk about us, all of us. We all need a message. I actually need one this week too, to be honest. Okay, what do we all need to hear right now? What is going on in the world that we need to just be aware of and reset? Just making sure that I'm recording after all my other hiccups. I just cannot get this yawn out. Okay. I'm so pleased to see this beautiful card. Beautiful. I mean, this is a soulmate card, actually. So, you know, this is a beautiful connection card. It doesn't mean in the scheme of the greater picture that everybody's going to meet their soulmate this week. However, it is a time to, let me say, put focus, be aware on, allow, it feels to me like it's really important to nurture those one-to-one relationships, as opposed to going to big parties. More important to really build that intimacy. I'm going to choose another card just to add to the story about it for all of us, though, because we just want to get a slightly bigger, more information, you could say. Oh gosh. Is this the card? Oh, no, sorry, I've just kind of been distracted. This is actually very hard to read. This is the Ten of Pentacles. It's a very holistic card about community, about everything coming. It's actually the card of what do you call it? Inheritance and all of that as well. But it's not. To me, it's more. Just trying to do something about. Considering the whole, it's got to sound so dramatic, but considering the whole world, just considering the bigger picture of life, and it's, oh my gosh, really analyzing the conflict in the world and seeing what can we do to build connections with each other that can help the conflict as a whole. So it's very hard for me to explain this today because it's quite a big story. But if I just could simplify it as best as I can, it says, you know, when there's a big conflict in the world, like the world is in war, and we just need to put more love into the war, or if there's a big, we need to care for each other more, but using the world's dramas to, rather than complain and moan about what's on the news, what can we think positively about? What can we do positively? What can we do if you have the finance to donate to causes that could benefit from your donations? It's just looking at how we can build those connections one-on-one that ultimately, if everyone in the world did that right now, the world would be a better place. I'm going to leave that one there. It's too complicated to explain. All right, let's get on to the next question. Excuse the fumble, would you? Michelle, shall I reach out to my ex-partner? Shall I reach out to my ex-partner who ended our relationship recently? Suddenly, shall I say I forgive him? Even though I wasn't the one who did anything wrong or decided to end it, I still really love him and miss him and what we shared and what we were building together. We both lost our dads a few weeks apart from each other, only weeks beforehand. I still feel hurt, and part of me feels any communication really needs to be from him. But he seems to have just shut me out for no reason, even though he said he still cares about me. All right. We need to unpack this in a couple of stages. The first question is, shall you reach out to your ex-partner? Michelle. Is it correct action for Michelle to reach out? Judgment. This is a forgiveness card, so this is quite good in the scheme of, yes, it is time to let go of the demons and forgive people and not judge others and just have compassion. So this is an on the fence card. So as a yes, no, or maybe, it's more of a maybe. However, in the scheme of what you've asked, it's a definite suggestion that you do practice forgiveness, not for the sake of him, for the sake of your own happiness. Because it's like that old saying goes, to be resentful or angry at someone else, hoping it's going to offend them, is like drinking poison and hoping the other person's going to die. Whereas we're only giving that resentment and that anger and that hurt to ourselves. Therefore, my next piece of advice is to it's actually going to get some clarity on what went on for him, if we can get permission to do so. Because it does feel very indicative that there's a lot of pain and stress and upset going on in both of your lives. So the energy between you wasn't actually balanced. It was obviously two energies out of your natural harmonious state, quite dramatically. Therefore, where was he at? What is his situation and why he pulled away? This is a card of a child. I do feel there is, and I vaguely have a feeling that there is children involved at his end. If not, it feels like a priority shift in his life to recognizing he needs to give attention to not children. Priority shift. Yeah, he's, when you have a car crash or something and you get this wake up call and you suddenly look at life differently, or you get a cancer scare and you just really see life different from that point on. That's kind of what's happened to him with this death. He's had a bit of a and something dramatic has just kind of gone poof, and life is not as he once saw it. And your process in this is to practice your own forgiveness until you're in a more stable state and feeling your best self, so that you're in a calm, sensible and grounded manner to approach the situation. This is a change of life for you too. The outcome has never said he won't come back. I still feel that there's room for him to enter your life again, but it is about you just walking away at this time, because currently it's not going to be emotionally fulfilling for you, even though there's heaps of stuff emotionally fulfilling. This is the 8 of Cups. Is it the 8? No. Yeah. I can't count. It's an... Yeah. And it's a trusting that even though there's lots of good that happened there was one thing that's missing at the moment. And you need to walk away from something great with the trust and faith that something better will unfold. And that usually is a really important space. If anybody is going through any relationship challenges, or you've had a breakup, or you've had a fight, or anything like that, one of the best things we can do for ourselves is give ourselves a little pep talk. And the pep talk goes like a couple of sayings that I would use myself. One of them is, "This too shall pass." So even if you're in heartache or distress right now, it's not going to be like that the whole time. And whilst it's not really giving us too much comfort in the moment, it is true, and it can just ease the pain a bit. The other thing is, what's meant for me, or who's meant for me, won't go past me. Therefore, it's trusting that it will work out. And if you fight it and force it and grab it and attach to it, it actually will lengthen the time. The most powerful thing we can do with any conflict, especially with partners, is to get ourselves into a detached space. To do this, sometimes it's important to even just say a saying to yourself and the universe, something like, "I allow all energetic cords associated with love and or with this person or with whatever your topic is that feel hurt, untoward and needy for me, to be returned to the source of its origin, transformed and healed to completion, so that I may now be the essence of love again and attract true love back into my life." And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because when we can use a transformation like that and an awareness that we want to hand back those yucky emotions because it's just our human ego reacting, we ask for help from our guides, from the universe, from God, source, whatever you want to term your highest power with, to allow you to come into your center and let stuff go and trust the process. It's when we're holding on to the ideals, holding on to the dreams we had with that person, or holding on to what used to be, because it's all past now. Everything is changing constantly, as hard as that is to accept. And therefore, when we can detach and bring peace to our heart, we are more likely to get clarity and connection again with that person or with someone even better. So there's a third thing that I would say: please, universe, bring me closer to true love with this and more, or this and or more. And that way you are thanking the universe and being appreciative for what you had with that person. Thank you, and more please, would be the request. Thank you, and more please. Now, you'll also notice that yesterday in the Cosmic Consulting class, we did talk about appreciation being the fastest way to launch up into feeling happy again. So that's pretty much an example of how you can do just that. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Tricks that we can do with our awareness. Told you today was a bit intense. So I'm like, whew. Righty, let's look at the next question and jump into Lisa, because she's got a quick one, and then Annette, we are going to go straight to you, and then Jessica, you'll slip in towards the end. If we get it right. Who am I doing? Lisa. Lisa, am I going to be in New Zealand in April 23? What is the most probability that this is going to happen? We don't usually ask, this is, about timelines. However, we can get the likely energy that is most probable based on everything that's going on right this moment. Energy can change, remember. The most probability at this time that you'll be in New Zealand in 2023, April 2023. Lisa. Yes. Simple yes. Lovely jubbly. Okay, Annette. What did you tell me? Did you ask me a question? I haven't got the question here. And I kind of know your question. Sorry, I got that at the last minute. If you want to jump on and take your mute off, you can ask me direct. Otherwise, I know it's about a guy you met online that you had a good connection with, lost connection. However, you still feel some connection energetically perhaps, and are keen to know whether there is a future for this person. I will.
Hi, Fiona.
Hello. Is that about right? Is that a good way to interpret your question?
Yeah, I mean, I did ask this quite a long time ago when it first happened, and you actually did come up with something good, but it was unsure.
Okay.
And so it's been quite a bit of time. So I'm just still, what you actually just said about holding on to things has made me have quite a good think there.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Often we share each other's lessons within these Tarot Q&A Tuesday sessions. I feel might be in a relationship with someone else at this time, or in connection. So it's it's obviously not ideal for a relationship with you if that is the case. Therefore, it is about detachment right now. And yeah, that letting go thing is super powerful. The only problem with it, the only tricky part, is that it's actually easier said than done, and you cannot pretend to detach. You actually have to feel into detachment. So this is how we do it. You make a choice that you become aware of this philosophy, and then you choose to be aware of your heart's feelings and fill your heart with love and compassion. So you're allowing yourself to get the hug that you need about these disappointing feelings that you're having, and just be in the vibe of, I deserve the best, I deserve to be loved, I am lovable, I trust that if this person is meant for me, it will be, I send them love. And then many of you may know that Hawaiian poem, goodness knows, I don't know how to say it, Honepoto, I think. If anyone wants to give it a go live and say that how do you say it? The Horipoto, do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll explain it, because what it's all about is when you're having a bit of an icky time and some conflict going on with somebody, and we just want to go, it's all your fault, I'm so mad at you, why'd you do this? If you didn't do that, this wouldn't have happened. If we can stop and just go, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Or I don't know, there could be a proper order. I usually just say whatever order comes, and I keep running through. Thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. And what this does is it raises your vibration. It also, you go, thank you for the opportunity to have a life lesson. If you're not thanking the person, you're thanking the universe, and then it brings about the lesson. I'm sorry for any misunderstandings or for just being a human trying to get by in life. Please forgive me, because I do deserve to be forgiven. And I love you because you are part of me as a greater whole, since in the universe we're all connected as one. And the frustration and anger that we show anyone else, we also give ourselves. And we know this to be true because when we express frustrating, negative, yucky thoughts, we feel yuck. So if we share the love, we feel more love. If we give ourselves compassion or others, we feel better. Interesting, isn't it? So, a lot of deep stuff today, guys. Now, I did promise Jess I was about to launch into Leah, and 12% battery. Jessica, what do I need to focus on to care for myself right now? Woo! Oh! Well, talk about that later. That was just the moon, Jessica. I don't know if it was for you, though. I don't feel. We'll just see what comes up. Jessica, what does Jessica need to focus on to care for herself in the best way right now? Because of course there's lots of ways we can care for ourselves, right? We can eat healthy, we can exercise, we can think nice thoughts, we can get good sleep, we can go and have a massage, we can go for a walk, we can touch with nature, we can find new friends, we can... What else can we do? Give me some ideas so I can share other ways of looking after yourself. Put some ideas in the chat, would you, everyone? What's a good way that we can care for ourselves so that it's not something I mentioned? Help me think outside the zone. Okay, we have the Six of Cups. This card is a very nostalgic card. It's about friendship and giving and taking, and it's about very much about the... What is the message in this, though? For we pull one card. Sometimes we need two to get a clearer picture. Do you know what? I feel really important to have some sisterhood bonding connections with the friends of yours that you would consider sisters. It's an interesting one, isn't it? More. We want more. And then I get the Lovers. So okay, so in friendships with you, I know this doesn't sound like a direct answer to your question, but you know, sometimes we get these warped versions of answers, and this is about finding a better give and take within some friendships so that you have the, you know, bearing in mind the Lovers, that you have the give and take of giving and taking. You know, like, so that, but you know, it's a tricky one. I have to be honest, I'm a shocker for this sometimes. I get so excited about over delivering, and then you think you're delivering sometimes without expecting in return. But we all actually accidentally expect in return. It doesn't have to be the same way. Any good relationship, whether it's with a lover or a friend or a family member, actually has this thing that I've labeled energy transactions. And even though it doesn't have to be of equivalent, like it could be that someone has lots of money and they shout you out for dinner, or it could be that someone doesn't have lots of money, so they give by cooking lots of dinners, and then somebody else is able to take care of something to give the other person relief. And so there's all this giving and taking that somehow just feels harmonious. But the minute that, well, not the minute, but over time, if someone starts to drop the ball and drag the chain and just receive everything with no kind, thoughtful gestures for the other party, then resentment can kick in without even it meaning to. And it slowly builds because if you're used to a good relationship, it is an energy transaction. And provided you're not stuck on the transactions all being about money, like if you're starting to date somebody and that you go out for dinner and then you pay, then they pay, and then you pay, and then they pay, that's fine if it works for you. But what if you can't afford that? So you've got to have this ability to just be mindful and thoughtful and kind and wanting to give, and without the expectation that we talk about. But you know, we are humans, and when we start to feel like we don't have support and anybody giving a shit about us, we start to lose our happiness because we self-talk on a subconscious level. So to rectify any imbalances in relationships is a tricky conversation. It either comes by you pulling back and trying not to overgive. And I say try not to overgive because I have to actually stop myself sometimes. It's a little bit of a trait that I get from my mother. She over delivers in the abundance and goodness and generosity. but it's not normal for me not to want to put on a great spread and all the bells and whistles if people come to my house. So if you can't communicate the lack, sometimes the best starting point is to just step back and allow someone else the space to actually step forward energetically, because often we take up so much space and fill in all the gaps. Like I would be guilty of being super organized, planning ahead, so by the time somebody even thought to do something, I'd already organized it, and that way I actually miss out, and then I feel like, man, I'm always the giver. And so then my little girl comes out and was like, what about me? What about me? And I like to think I'm a bit bigger than that, but occasionally I'm like, you know, it's quite nice when someone makes a little surprise that helps you to feel a little bit special. But people aren't necessarily as self-aware as you might be, or as thoughtful. So whilst a conversation verbally is always the first port of call in a general day-to-day, sometimes it's just good just to use the energy, step back and give them room, be patient, you know? Otherwise we have heartache caused by our own expectations. Get it? Anyway, let me see what Leah has to say. Should I ask my aunt and uncle for a loan? If no, where should I reach out for help to consolidate debt? Bank? I have a big bill looming, but more owing in the big picture. Okay, Linda, you have to go. You said that I thought you were going to go to the hairdresser. I see what you're saying. We'll get back to that. Now, should Leah ask her aunt and uncle for a loan? Is it correct action? Is it something that's going to flow without too much conflict or awkwardness, right? Okay. Leah. Okay, the answer is yes. However, there is a yes. Could you work in with a bank? Is this about working with a bank about a new business loan that they could go guarantor on? That's what I'm feeling, because I'm not sure if you can need a guarantor. However, this feels like there's an opportunity for them to be emotionally supportive with this as well. And yeah, I just get that a bit of a mix of the bank and them, and this will launch you into being able to just let your true self shine more, because I feel this is holding you back a bit, but there is that about money. And yeah, I actually feel this is a really good idea that will help you to really just launch yourself into the world and feel your best self. Definitely feels like correct action. And somewhere, or maybe just have a chat what opportunities the banks have, and perhaps whatever they offer could be a better deal if they go guarantor, so they might have a lower interest rate or something. And it's just what I see is it's some sort of new business thing where you can go for a stepping stone thing as you build up. Now, we were asking the question of how can we help ourselves to care for ourselves, and Linda gave a lovely suggestion. Going to the hairdresser for a wash and blow wave always makes me feel so much better. That's a really good one, isn't it? I know that self-care, and that's not self-love. I mean, it is a self-loving act. However, it is simply those little things we can do for ourselves. Take ourselves on a special date, and to let's look into this a bit more, because I'd like to have some ideas of how we need to remember a daily action step of actually self-care. You know, I know plenty of people at the moment who are super, super, super stressed, and they're overwhelmed because there's so much going on. And I will admit that some of these people have some really tough stuff that is challenging. However, the advice for us all when we're going through these overwhelming, stressful, a lot on your plate kind of times is to get organized and get structure. And this is planning like a month ahead. And this is really understanding that if we get clarity, it's not as overwhelming. And really deciding how much energy you want to give it. A lot of people just be in it and they're not able to step back and make a little plan. And therefore, that's really where the overwhelm comes from, because we can choose our stress, but we really need to be able to choose and have daily practices that take the edge off. This, I would align this to, if you don't have a shower every day, you're going to get pretty dirty, right? Or if you don't have a shower most days. So if you don't cleanse your energy, or if you don't balance your nervous system, it's just going to get dirtier and dirtier. And I really always think, just take a moment, take 10 seconds to imagine your heart bursting with beautiful radiant light. Just even if you did that for 10 seconds every day. Whoo! I clear out all the bullshit of my energy in my auric field, and I am ready and my best self to face the world. Today is a new day. Rather than getting out of bed and far out, it's another day. Attitude. So we are going to wrap this one up. Have I forgotten somebody? I just better check that. Don't think so. And yes, if you're watching on YouTube, they won't be able to see this because my video's stopped. But anyway, you guys, we will look forward to seeing you real soon. Lots of love. Just signing out, just signing off, just like that. Not even wrapping it up. Have a great week, guys. I'll see most of you on Monday for Cosmic Consulting. Can't wait for it. Bye.